everybody. So we are the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are here to talk about The Good Witch. This is the Good Witch podcast and the latest episode. And I'm Rachel, and Amber is not here because she's not feeling well. Luckily, Georgia is here to talk about this episode with me. Hi, Georgia.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. And episode is called Match Game, and it's episode 6 of the season. Your overall thoughts about this episode? What do you think?
I liked it. I liked it way better than last week.
Interesting.
Way better. I thought it was fun. I thought, I thought there was a point to it, but it was also enjoyable to watch. Of course, I always like Abigail episodes, so, you know, I'm kind of in favor of it. I was surprised there wasn't more Stephanie, but honestly, yeah.
So this is going to be fun because we have a difference of opinion. I didn't care for this episode. I liked the last week's much better. Yeah.
Even though Martha was so funny in this one.
She was funny, and there are takeaways, there are cute moments, but too many needy men for me. Was like, okay, yeah. I talk about the insufferable bride. This was like the insufferable man, and I can't deal with it. Like it was. Just,
I got you.
I was super irritated by all these men, and I just like want Sam to sit them down and be like, this is what girls are. This is what they like. Take notes, because these men are just so frustrating. And I don't know. I didn't really like it. And so anyway, yes, it's gonna be fun to talk about. It started out kind of, my first tweet was, hey, Sam needs to sit Nick down and explain to him about girls and how dating works and asking girls out. Because like, he's just a mess. Like, what is going on here? Like, he wants, because Grace is on this committee to plan this dance. And it seems like she has to do everything on this whole committee for some reason. Like, if she's gone, it's a total disaster. Was like, what is going on? And so Nick wants to go on a date with the girl that's on the committee. I forget her name. Do you remember her name?
I do not remember her name. Shoot,
it was like Carly or something like that. I should have written that down. But anyway, she wants to go on a date with this girl and to this dance. And so he's like, can you talk to her? Or he wants Grace to like see if she's been asked or like do some investigation for him, which I guess I could understand, but it was just like, I don't know. It's just like, just ask, like, just sit down and talk to her like a human being. Like, what is going on here? I was just, I don't know.
Because they sort of treat it like Nick has no experience with dating at all, but we've already had Courtney. And so you end up being like, all right, Nick's not some like 13-year-old who's just super confused. I mean, he's a senior in high school?
Yeah. Plus, like, this is the thing, is that in our culture, we have inflated dating, I feel like, except for maybe blind dates or a few exceptions. We have inflated dating to like practically like to what courtship was, like a commitment or something. Like, if I go on a date with this person, I'm like super interested, and this is like a big deal, which is ridiculous. Like especially in high school, like he should just be able to go and say, hey, do you want to go on a date? And because he's like find out if she liked me, find out if, and it's like, that's what a date is for. That's what dating is for, is to get to know someone so that you go on a date and you like.
It's so true. Like, yeah.
Am I crazy?
No, you're not at all crazy. I do think that, I mean, when I was in high school and all that, you know, that's basically what it's like, is, okay, I'm not going to go out with someone because, well, they also started like using the same term, will you go out with me, meant, will you be my girlfriend/boyfriend?
Yeah,
so it
ends
up being confusing. Yeah. So you go, okay, it's all the same thing. You can't go out with someone without it like meaning a whole lot. And I'm not someone who's going to just go out with anyone anyway, like whatever.
Hey, I'll let anybody buy me dinner once. Like, I'm just putting it out there pretty much, unless you give me like serious creepster vibes. You can buy me dinner. We can go out. We'll have a fun time.
See, that's a very healthy attitude. I am so like, if I do not know you, I do not like you already, I do not see myself being able to spend like 3 hours talking with you right now, I'm probably not going to go out with you. And so I have not dated a whole lot, you know. It ends up being more of like a relationship rather than dating. I think
Well,
the actual dating is kind of gone.
Well, I still don't date very much because so many people have this like this crazy notion of like, and I think, so we're going to talk about this. So Noah comes in and gives Grace the promposal cupcake, asking her to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
This I can tolerate.
But I think that's annoying, but okay, yeah.
I think that promposals are a big part of what has caused this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because something that should just be a fun thing. Because in my opinion, like if I had a teenage daughter, I don't really want her going on dates one-on-one, mano a mano, not with like some big level of commitment. Like I think that when you're a teenager, you should go on group dates. Like that's how I was raised, at least. And you should go on group dates and get to know each other and have fun. And and so like I think this whole promposal thing is like all part of, it's emblematic of this whole problem of like, like literally in my high school, I didn't go to prom. So maybe that's why I'm just bitter. I don't know. But because I had my junior year prom, I was actually on the committee planning it and I got appendicitis and was in the hospital.
No.
Yeah. Luckily I didn't have a date or I was just would have been going stag, but I went to homecoming and several other formals and we literally just like talked in the hallway and we're like, hey, do you want to go to the dance? Yeah. Okay. I'll pick you up. It was fine. That was fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I know that it can be like that. When I was in school, it wasn't like that. It was more you had to have a date. You could all go as a group, but you had to be matched up. So yeah, you're going as a group, but you couldn't have like 5 girls and 3 guys or something. You had to have equal numbers and everyone has someone to be paired with because there had to be something like that.
Have you gotten a promposal?
I did not get a promposal. So I went to my friend's prom at a different school. She actually asked me to go to her prom. So that was nice, but she didn't have a date and I was, there was a whole school thing with me. So I ended up going to college classes, didn't have a high school to go to a prom too. So she was like, come to mine. But she did not like propose to go to the prom because I think that's so weird personally. I'm not in favor of that. Weird. It's so weird. You guys are like, you're teenagers, you're kids. You don't need so much thought and effort and so much like, and you're right, the level of commitment.
It builds it up to this like a cupcake I can handle. A cupcake is a cupcake. It's no big deal. But like these things are like expensive and it just builds dating up to this like it's got all this pressure behind it. Everybody's nervous instead of it just being like, this is fun. Let's do it.
Yeah. Did you have a show on MTV called Promposal and these kids had elaborate, expensive promposals. It's so,
it's insane. So I can support Noah in his prom cupcake, whatever thing. But that's it. That's as far as we need to go. Get the 4 ladies of Middleton all eating lunch. And I was just thinking, man, I wish that I could be at that lunch. How fun would that be?
It always looks so nice, you know. I don't know who goes out to lunch as much as people in Hallmark movies either, but or shows, but it just always looks so fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's classic, like not even just Hallmark. You think of like the Friends people at the coffee shop or like How I Met Your Mother at the bar. You know, they always have their sort of their respective haunt, you know, that they frequent in these shows. And if you counted out how much the Friends people spend on coffee, like it's ridiculous. Like,
right? Sometimes they're like, oh, we're not even working. I don't have any money. Still drinking all their coffee. And I'm like, how?
I know.
Where are you getting the money?
And living in a like $2 million at least flat in New York.
But rent control, right? Wasn't that it?
I guess. Yeah.
Monica's grandma or whatever. Yeah.
But anyway, so they're talking about this mystery man at Grey House who is staying, and like it's kind of weird, like if you had why was he there? He was there to pitch it or something? Like if I had a big project that I was like working, I would want to be at my house. Like why was he at Grey House? Do we know?
And then he's staying, it's Phil, right?
I think that was his name. Yeah, Phil.
Yeah. He's staying there. I don't know. I did not hear why he was there. I didn't know if I missed it. I didn't know if because I just don't really care for him. Like,
yeah, he was the worst. He was needy.
Okay.
He was needy man number 3 in this scenario. Yeah, he was the worst. And
so bummed. Yeah.
So we find out that he likes, our initial clue is that he likes French fries and grilled cheese.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Like everyone does. Well, maybe not Sam, but like it doesn't need to be Sam.
If you're on a low carb diet, but other than that,
you still like it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I did not feel like, I think they were trying to be like opposites attract between Abigail and this guy and Mr. Mystery Man, and I didn't feel that chemistry like at all. I just thought that he was rude and irritating and needy.
So rude. So I mean, I think it's known how much I love Abigail. Like, Abigail's my girl. I love her. I was so disappointed, and I was legitimately sitting at the table, and they get to it, and I knew that's where they were going with it, but I was like, don't do it. And he's like, oh, maybe you could teach me about dating or whatever it was at the end. And I sat there going, no, because I was like, why? After all this time, would you pair Abigail up with someone like that? Like, she needs someone who's really nice, or who's really someone more interesting. And he was just like, I don't know, maybe they'll make him likable, but they certainly didn't.
You know who Abigail needs is somebody like Luke in Gilmore Girls. Somebody like that, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Because she's sharp and she's, she's kind of tough to crack sometimes. Exactly. She needs someone who can hold his own, but who isn't like, ooh, I'm all cryptic and I accuse you of things you did not do. I was so, oh my gosh.
Yeah. He's like, he has no BS about him, but like, he can handle
a man. Yes.
Strong. Yeah. A man. I felt like, I was like, what happened to the men in Middleton? They all drank, like needy juice and were like super frustrating, except for Sam.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who felt that way.
It's no wonder that they had to go to Blairsville to find a man, because like they were all so terrible. But like, so we get the introduction of
terrible.
We get the introduction of this survey, right? And that they have this beta group take the survey. They find out that 2 of the people that took the survey are in Middleton, because I guess, like Cassie said, they had like key things they mentioned that were in the town, because it obviously didn't have like their name and addresses on these surveys. And so she's like reading it, and like, what did you think about this algorithm? Like, Georgia, what sound does your favorite color make?
That doesn't make any sense.
What is I mean, I guess I have to say flute, because my favorite color is purple. I mean, that was the thing of the thing. So I don't know. My favorite sound is not the flute. And
like,
I mean, I have no bias against the flute. It can be nice. I don't know. My
particular feelings.
Like, what is this question? This, like, and how could you possibly like this? This is supposedly like beneath the lines question. So like, the sound of your favorite color is really going to tell, like, what? I mean, maybe the way it could work is if you were like, this question is completely nonsense. I don't care. And then the other person that was like, this question is complete nonsense. Match.
Boom.
Yeah.
That was exactly
ridiculous. Sorry, it's not purple. It's magenta is the flute.
Oh, of course.
Magenta.
Of course.
Yeah, and Sam was just like, this is nonsense. Ridiculousness.
I feel like it got taken to a weird level of like, okay, we're doing Good Witch stuff, but like now we're just doing, and I love this show. I still love this show. But we're kind of just doing like nonsense stuff where you go, here's a thing. You don't need to make sense. It doesn't need to be something that would happen in the real world, because you'll just suspend all that. And I'm like, no, it still doesn't, like, I don't relate to it. I don't buy it necessarily.
Like, I wouldn't want, well, I mean, in truth, if he really could, like, guarantee I probably would sign up, because I just need all help I can get at this point. But like, it's ridiculous. It's nonsense. And I liked Stephanie when she's just like, computers. Whatever happened to walking by a guy 4 or 5 times until he notices you?
Oh,
there
man.
There you go. For Stephanie, she gets it.
I mean,
And
I have nothing against the whole internet dating, whatever works for you, but
yeah,
it's just like, I personally would not be comfortable with it. And this was just, I don't know. It's like it didn't fit.
here's my spiel about internet dating.
I know. Uh-oh.
I get into all kinds of trouble when Amber's gone. Okay, here's the thing. So, like, in internet dating, it forces you to be superficial because you have this huge pool of people, right? And you have to find some way to narrow it down, right? And so
Yeah.
you have to narrow it down by stuff that's stupid and doesn't matter. Like, you might narrow it down by having a college degree or not. Could I possibly fall in love with somebody without a college degree? Of course I could. But, like, I have to pick something. And whatever it is superficial. And so you have to pick something. And so, like, if somebody picks, they only want to date skinny people or whatever, like, I can't blame them because everyone has to pick something.
Yeah.
And, like, that doesn't really actually matter, but so it's just like this really, like, I feel like it just forces you to be super superficial. Like, I actually think if I had to pick over internet dating versus speed dating, I would pick speed dating because at least, like, speed dating, you actually get to, like, them face to face and you actually get to talk, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Like, you can tell a lot about a person, I feel like, in 5 minutes if it's, like, worth going out on a date.
And you can get a gut feeling about them. If you're face to face, you're next to them, whatever. I mean, if someone makes you super uncomfortable and you're just, like, pushing them away, you can tell that usually pretty quickly. If you want to spend any time with them, you can usually tell that pretty quickly. So I agree. I would be more comfortable with that.
But then we have Grace, and she's trying to plan this dance. And, like, I just feel bad for Grace because, like, everything she does is wrong. Like, everything. Like, it's ridiculous.
That girl's working hard, and it's like, you didn't come to my game. And I'm like, no, did you go to her committee meeting?
Right.
Your committee.
Yeah. So, but first she wants to have it outside instead of having it in the gym. But you can make a gym look pretty nice. It just depends. But anyway, so she wants to do it outside, and it's probably a little late in the planning stage, but she talks to Martha getting the permit. And Martha's hesitant at first, but she finally decides, and she agrees to give them the permit. You have that plot line. And and so, like, Noah is really getting needy and annoying about, like, the fact that Grace isn't at all his events. And it's like, she's like a leader of this committee.
Yeah.
Of course she's gonna be, like, gonna have to commit to it and gonna have to, like, deal with it. She's like, that's just ridiculous. Like, what?
It's like what they were doing with Martha and her husband, where it was she was working too much and he wanted to spend time with her and stuff, but I'm like, they had been married for however long and he was very supportive, and they were doing that storyline before, and I feel like they're trying to sort of make this the same, but I'm like, you guys are kids. Like, you're kids and you need to chill out a little bit. And also, does he go to things for her?
Yeah, right.
Does he?
And also, if you are the leader of, like, if Martha is, I mean, I agree, she's the mayor, so she's always a leader at something. But if there was, like, a particular function that she was planning and dealing with, then, like, I think 2 or 3 days before it, like, it's kind of like if I'm trying to do something with my brother who's going to college right now, and he says finals are coming up, I don't say, well, boy, you really care about your studies more than you care about me, obviously. It's like, no, of course, it's finals. That's important. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so it was ridiculous. And, like, and especially because he has, like, multiple games. He probably has, like, 25 games in a season. Like, she can come to the next game. Like,
and she did. She was,
right?
That's why I'm like, okay, so it wasn't, if it was like, here's this thing that you kind of took on that you didn't need to take on, and this is our last game, and this is championship stuff and all that, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's her boyfriend. They need to support each other. Yes, I get that. Yeah. But this is, like, apparently middle of the season. It should, fine. He has more games to do. It should be okay.
If he was getting, like, Player of the Year award or something like that, or was homecoming, or I guess that's football, but you know what I mean? Like, if it was some special thing, I get it. But like, he just needs to calm the heck down. And so I was very frustrated with And then like it gets even so like they end up doing their thing. We'll talk more about it. But like then Nick's like, well, because you weren't there.
Oh my God. Seriously, I'm not usually that mad at Nick, but I was like, I just want to kick you a little bit. Why are you seriously?
Are these like I just couldn't handle the men in this episode. So
they were so obnoxious, and I was really disappointed in them. I wanted the girls to be like, no, you're out of line. You need to give me some respect or get out. And they'd be like, oh, okay. But no, they just take it.
Yes. Like we're going to talk about. So Cassie gets really curious about these two people that are matched, and she wants to try to find out who they are. And so Sam actually starts digging and trying to figure it out because he gets concerned because he thinks that this woman might have some kind of hyperthyroid issue. And this was really weird. I mean, it was like, I don't know. So they end up like through various means, they call, and it's like so ridiculous. Like if the person is sitting there with the survey in their hands and they can literally like quote it verbatim, like the fact that they wouldn't give them, like they have all of this other sensitive information on the survey. You're not going to give them the name. Like, that's ridiculous. But anyway, but they're like trying to figure it out. They're playing detective. This was their chance, and Sam was playing detective and the Mary Wick mysteries here. And they find this woman, and like it's sort of weird because she's like seemingly in great shape. Like she like works at a yoga place or something. Anyway, and I just thought like bless this actress's heart, because it wasn't her fault, but it was just like if somebody came to me and was like, I've read something you wrote and I'm very alarmed about your health, I would be like, what? Like you think that she would have like seen a doctor or felt something or like what? Like this is so weird.
Well, like, come on, Rachel. She had low energy, so obviously she has some kind of condition.
And so like she ends up getting seen. And what did you think about all the Shakespeare shade that was thrown in this episode?
I was like, yeah.
Am I crazy, or do like lots of people in the United States of America like to read Shakespeare? Like,
okay,
is this like some wild thing? Like,
what people? The guy, and I seriously was like, I was watching with my family. I'm like, do you guys think this is weird? People read Shakespeare, and I was like, did you go to school? I mean, of course. Yeah, my brother goes, well, maybe he thinks everyone just acts it out, and I'm like, no. They make you read it and take tests, and that's why they have the books that have the like translations on the other side, because people read it.
Like I get it's not everyone's cup of tea, the Old English and stuff, and but I still think like a sizable grouping, like not enough that you're just like what? You know, like I think
I like Shakespeare. I mean, come on.
And even the sonnets, the sonnets are said at every wedding known to man. And
not to him.
It's like, whoa. She likes the sonnets. She likes the Shakespearean sonnets.
It was like, so random.
It was so weird. Like, I mean, obviously more people read Jane Austen, but like a lot of people read Shakespeare. Like, this is not that weird. Like, I was just like, what? And it wasn't just Sam. Like, he said it several times. But I don't know. I feel like there were a number. The guy at the end, Blairsville guy, ended up saying it like,
what? And I was like, are you serious right now? And I could not tell him, like, is this some joke that he's making where, people read it? I do too. And I'm like, no. I think he's serious. He doesn't realize this.
A lot more people don't read like nonfiction. Like if it was like 500 birds of North America, like nobody reeds that, right? You know, except for bird people. And so like
weirder things, you know
what I mean, just like something like that, or hilarious. I was just like, what is going on here?
I don't know which one of the writers has an issue with Shakespeare, but apparently someone has.
There's a grudge here. Trophies. So he goes and he finds the trophies and whatever, and he finds out who this guy is. So he goes to Blairsville, and I was like, good thing Martha doesn't know about this. Because this is just not good.
I kind of wish he had. I could have used more Martha.
not only, that would have been funny. But so this guy's in Blairsville. They're going to Blairsville, and they find the guy, and it's not the guy though, because he's the guy who was matched has gone and has gotten married. So
there you go, Cassie.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. He missed his true love, obviously. And so then there's this other guy there. What did you think of the brother of Blairsville guy?
And that's who it ended up being.
Yeah, so that's ended up being because there's this so there's this scene with the girl and the brother, Blairsville brother, and they're sitting in the bookstore, and she's like, "Oh, do you like Shakespeare?" And he's like, "Who reads Shakespeare?" And she's like, "Ha ha 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 ha." And
Cassie's sitting there with her little book, like spying on him. That was super creepy.
Yeah, that was really weird because Cassie normally just sort of pretends to be sort of naive about all this.
Yeah.
Right? She usually is she just spying for Sam, I guess, so she can say, I don't know, but she usually just pretends to be blissfully ignorant of all her matches.
Yeah. Very what are they doing? I happen to be here too.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I guess I can look at Shakespeare. What?
It's so weird.
Abigail is trying to be nice to Mr. Mystery Man, grilled cheese and French fries. And he's just a jerk. And he's got all these papers everywhere, and he has this whiteboard with this formula for his algorithm, evidently. And so then there's this whole scene with Martha in that she's there with Grace, trying to see if it'll work for the park. And Martha there's this drone there. And Martha gets attacked by the drone.
That was my favorite part.
The best part of the episode. And she's like, I forget exactly how she put it, but she's like, it gave me a chance to brush up on my resting mare face.
She said she didn't want the drone to catch her with her resting mare face.
And she did this. It was in Vogue or something. It was so funny. I was dying.
Oh my God, I laughed for 5 minutes. That was probably the funniest thing they've had on that show ever. That was so funny.
Yeah, resting mare face. And it's oh, it was so funny. I was dying. And there's this guy there who's piloting the drone and has his sons with him. And he's very, very sketchy. We knew. He was up to no good from the beginning. And anyway, and Martha evidently knows who this guy is, but he's new in town. So I don't know how I guess she just saw him get his approval for the drone. Anyway, what do you think about drones? You pro drones?
No, they creep me out.
Yeah. They're kind of annoying.
I like it. I mean, I watch a lot of Shark Week stuff, and they sometimes can go over and do things. Not even necessarily Shark Week, but just you can do, or when they're filming movies, they can get shots of stuff, and it's useful. But I don't like when people just have them for fun.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I think it's weird, and I don't know why you would have it just to have it.
If I can totally see someone going to the Grand Canyon and using their drone, take amazing shots. Totally get it.
But in a park?
In a park is definitely creeps a lot. Creeps a lot. Yeah. And also how do you even I guess you just have to board up all of your windows if you're a single girl, because peeping Toms is just a whole new level.
Yeah.
These days. This is bad.
That was actually a thing. I thought they had a story about that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so drones are very suspect, especially Milton. Is all annoying and annoying Noah, and he's I don't want to go to the dance because you missed my game, even though you had to meet with the mayor for this. And that's when I said this episode should be called All the Men Are Needy Except for Sam. And then we get, so after all this kerbuffle, we get this Abigail and Cassie are talking, and in walks Mr. Mystery Man, and he says that he not only is going to leave the Gray House, but he is also going to sue Abigail for intellectual property. Okay. First of all, I don't think that they grant intellectual property patents on what color is your favorite sound. Like, give me a break. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, this is not an intellectual property.
I don't think anyone would want to steal
thing.
that, dude. Like, seriously, come on.
It's so ridiculous.
What is he?
And he's like, you stole my idea and put up this website and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I don't think that patent's going to be granted. I don't think your lawsuit is going to be successful.
Yeah.
And I think you're super lame. And he's like, and I'm going to leave this house. First of all, if you're so worried about your idea getting stolen, then don't go to a public place and do it. Like, do it at home in your basement where no one can see you, because that's probably where he's most at home. He probably lives in his parents' basement, and he can just do it there. Like, this is so ridiculous, so absurd. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, Abigail's just like, what? And she's the one that figures out that this drone guy is suspect, because he had just come into town, and those weren't really his kids, which Martha evidently knew all along.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And there's also, I have to say, so when Cassie and Sam go to meet the Blairsville guy, there's a long sequence where they have this umbrella. There's no rain. Am I insane? I thought that was so funny. I'm like, why did they have an umbrella out? Like, this is a fashion statement? Like, there was no
Maybe
rain.
it was too sunny. Was it? Sometimes they do that when it's sunny, but that seems weird.
Yeah, it was night. It was nighttime. I was laughing. I was like, is it just me, or do they have an umbrella with no rain?
But, oh my gosh, I don't remember that at all. Oh my god, I have to go back and rewatch that. Why did they have an umbrella at night?
I don't know. It was hilarious. I was laughing. But I loved the scene where Abigail finds out about who this drone guy was, and she goes up to Mr. Mystery Man, and she's like, look, he just barely got this permit. You're being an idiot. And he was a former colleague of yours. And look, you were doing all this work in front of an open window, in front of a clear window where the drone could see everything that you're doing. Really? And so it's his fault. And I felt like I said, this scene is basically the Good Witch version of a dope slap. And he deserves it because he was so stupid.
He deserves so much more.
Yeah. And he's like, at the end, I just had to laugh because he was like, well, I got them to take down their site because of my intellectual property. I'm like,
what? Like,
that makes no sense.
I'd sit there looking at him wondering why he was even written.
Yeah. That Match.com probably has copyrights and has some intellectual property, maybe on like what they might call like a system or whatever, but like they can't sue another company for coming up with another system for asking questions. Like, like if they were literally the exact same questions, I guess, but like it would be a long haul in court.
Yeah.
That way for sure. And especially if you didn't already have the patent. You have a patent? Like, I don't know. They were just throwing a lot around legal terms willy-nilly here. And intellectual property. Like, what? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's a nitpick. But like, it was just, this guy was the worst. I hate
the worst. I mean, same.
Chemistry at all. Like, no. I don't know. Like, I just don't see it. Like, I just don't see them as a couple at all. Like, and I don't know.
I mean, if he's going to be in other stuff too, like if he's going to be in Hallmark movies and stuff, I don't want to sit there going, oh, it's Bill from Good Witch, who I can't
Mr. Intellectual Property, like ridiculousness. Anyway, and so, so that's what happens. And then we do so basically Grace decides that she's going to go, and she's got her dress on and everything, and she goes to Noah's house, and she's like, look, we don't have to go to the dance. We can just do our own thing. You're the most important to me. And so then they end up just dancing on the grass, which was very sweet and one of the highlights of the episode for sure.
It was super sweet, and that's one of the things I liked about it. I just didn't like the way they had to get to it, because if she had to stop planning the whole thing, she didn't get to go to the dance. She ended up going to his game too. He sacrificed nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't want to go to the
Nothing.
dance. I just want to dance with you under the stars. Okay, so she gives up everything she planned, everything she had worked for, and then still gets chewed out by Nick, who only signed up so he could talk to a girl. Like, the whole thing was so unfair.
Yeah.
I loved
I
the
know.
dress. She was very pretty. It was a sweet moment, but I was like, yeah, I was mad about it.
I was irritated. I agree. It was a sweet moment. It was handled really well. And she looked really pretty and all of that. But like, why not? Like, you finished your cute little moment, then go to the dance.
Exactly. Then you go, okay, now we'll do it your way, because that's compromise. That's a relationship.
Yeah.
You don't just go and give in to everything because he makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was needy Noah, needy Nick. Not my favorite.
Exactly. Same.
No. And so I felt bad for her, because she worked all, and not only had she worked, it was like all her. Like, she was the one who wanted it to be outside, and she's the one who wanted it to be everything. And anyway, and so they have their dance, and then we see Nick coming up to her after, and it's like, we had to do everything because you weren't there.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people are in this school?
Seriously. And are there no teachers at all? There are no teachers who are like, all right, like, I'll pitch in here every once in a while. No, it's just all the kids.
Yeah, I mean,
completely up to the
didn't have
kids.
happen what happened to me with my appendix. That would be just I mean, golly.
I would have more in favor of that, honestly, on a show, not in real life. Obviously.
Go.
Yeah.
And that's basically the end of the episode. And like I said on Twitter, I'm like, because there's this one moment where Grace is like showing off her pictures, from the night. And she's just like smiling and happy. And I was like, look, Grace is happy. Like, I feel like this whole season, like, we've rarely seen like just a genuine joy that's not like, I'm happy for other people, but like, because like, it's good to do stuff for other people, but like, you need to also nourish yourself and like make your own happiness too. Like,
exactly. Balance it.
Yeah.
And they're not really doing that with her. It's so weird the way to have her just everything she does. It's like, oh, well, you probably should have done this for someone else though too. She's like, oh, I should have. Yeah, I guess I won't feel happy about this thing that I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really, because I said, look, Grace is actually happy, and then I'm like, oh, not for long. Just to deal with another needy man.
God.
Yeah, it's really bad. And I mean, if it's not Courtney that's giving her a hard time, it's Nick, it's Noah, it's just
Cassie
like, geez,
sometimes.
Cassie sometimes. You're like, boy, I mean, she's just in high school. Give her a break.
Let her just live her life. My God.
Yeah, just be happy.
And was Cassie not supposed to? So they said that she didn't make the match that she had intended to make, right? Because the guy that she had picked for that woman was married already.
Well, yeah, because
brother.
Well, no, because it was the match on the survey. So it wasn't really Cassie's fault.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, are you trying to say that she actually sort of got it wrong this time, or that she got it right all along, but we had the wrong idea? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and did you like also how Cassie always has the correct tchotchke in her store for any situation? That made me laugh. Yeah. Like, there you go. She's got a little dancing pair.
Of course.
And good for Grace for like figuring it out, because if I just saw a statue, if I was going to a dance and I saw a statue of a dance, I would probably just go to the dance.
That's the thing. Yeah. You know, all right. That's a logical connection to make. Nope. Read minds. Yeah. You can't just tell Grace what to do either and go, this will make things easier. She has to figure it out and then go make everyone else happy. Yeah.
There we go. So we've learned a lot in this episode. We've learned that drones are bad. We've learned that Martha Mayer resting face is the best thing ever.
That is seriously made the episode. That's why I liked it.
We've learned that needy men are terrible and we hate them.
Middleton.
We learned that you should put cryptically vague messages about your health in dating applications.
Always an attractive quality.
Yeah. And yeah. And that you should have umbrellas when there's no rain. So we learned all of these things. And so there you go. Another episode in the books. And Good Witch. And that Shakespeare is evidently very not cool. We had no idea.
So uncommon, practically unheard of to read Shakespeare. Who does that?
I remember people used to do that kind of shade when you were talking about reading comic books. Now it's like all cool or whatever, and people would be like, "You read comic books? That's so lame."
Yeah,
but I never thought the day would come where it was like Shakespeare. What madness is this? We all know now that the sound of magenta is a flute.
I don't know how you didn't know it before.
Yeah.
Taught us that in second grade, you know?
Yes.
So weird.
It's been very helpful, this episode of The Good Witch. So.
Educational.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Good Witch.
But thank you so much for joining me to talk about it. I really appreciate it. Sure, you've listened to our interview with Casey Manderson on the podcast that we had post on Monday, because he's so sweet and so lovely. We had such a great time talking to him. And he's in the new upcoming movie, The Perfect Bride Wedding Bells, which are you super excited for that one?
I am actually pretty excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool. And then, I mean, I hope I'll be pleasantly surprised. And Amber certainly is very excited. And then, we had our episode this week, yesterday, that was all about Pride and Prejudice and us ranking 10 different cinematic versions of Pride and Prejudice. We were inspired by unleashing Mr. Darcy, of course, and marrying Mr. Darcy. So I hope y'all enjoyed that this week. But First Dance, which will be that week's movie. And some podcasts we're going to be talking about our favorite weddings movies. It's very fun and eclectic, so I think you'll really enjoy it. And so there you go. That's what's coming up on our podcast. Make sure you check it out. And of course, we have this weekend, we have Perfect Bride 2 Wedding Bells on Hallmark. We have new Haley Dean movie, Haley Dean, A Marriage Made in Murder, I believe is what it's called. And then we have a new episode of The Good Witch. So we will all be together again next week. So thanks so much. And how can people find you?
On Twitter and Instagram, I'm Georgia Speech, Georgia like the state, and Speech the word.
Great. And you can find Amber at Amber Brainwaves, and you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. Make sure to check that out. I've had a lot of coverage of the new Star Wars movie, new Solo, and we'll have a podcast with my two friends posting on my channel about that this week. And so definitely check that out. We're also going to be doing on my channel a bracket tournament that we're going to determine what is the best romantic movie of all time. So I know that the Hallmarkies will be really interested in that. So there'll be a link in the description section to check out my channel. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. And so also make sure you're subscribed to Hallmarkies podcast on iTunes, YouTube. Make sure you put in your reviews, your stars. We really appreciate it. Thumbs up, all that fun stuff. And make sure you're following us on social media at Hallmarkies Pod on Instagram, Twitter, all that. We try to post every single day. We're going to be doing bride movies in the Instagram all month long. So you're going to really enjoy that. And so lots of fun stuff coming up. And thanks again. And we will talk to you all next week. Bye.
Bye.